and it's sold out. I don't want to hear about it, okay? Okay, let's get to the Epstein files. Here we go. Epstein file from September 11th, 2011. From redacted to Jeffrey Epstein. Spoke with Igor. He said last time you were in Palm Beach, you told him you had an appointment with Putin on September 16th and that he could go ahead and book his ticket to Russia and arrive a few days before you. He also looked into security in Sochi for you. He said, regardless, he will still need to go to Russia tomorrow to sort out his Russian passport, which expires at the end of September. So he will still fly back to New York on the 19th. He will be happy to go back to Russia with you on September 26th if you go. Okay. How is Jeffrey Epstein getting appointments with Putin, the, at this time, leader of Russia for over 10 years?
Wait.
Is he... Okay, let's just...
Wait, hold the fuck up. Hold the fucking phone. So this nigga got... Not just niggas from America bleed, not bro. This nigga don't got not just niggas from America, not from the USA, the biggest in the USA. He got niggas, the biggest from Russia too? Oh man. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Like, it's really levels to this shit, bro. Nigga, R. Kelly this nigga was city level threat. He was a city level threat. This nigga can't go to your city. You got Diddy. Diddy, man, he's a state level threat. This nigga Jeffrey, bro, is a fucking, this nigga's a world tier.
This in the column of maybe he was working with the KGB. If he's a super spy, maybe he was working with the Russians. Next one. This is an email from a sultan in Dubai, Sultan bin Sulayem, a big business leader in Dubai. Dear Jeffrey, I'm attaching some media clipping regarding the Israeli operation in Dubai. I will call you around 7 p.m. Eastern time. What happened doesn't help anyone. This is from Wednesday, February 17th, 2010. I don't remember this particular Israeli operation in Dubai. This would seem to imply that Epstein is either working with the Israelis. He's saying, hey, I want to talk to you about this Israeli operation. Okay, maybe he was working with the Israelis. It might also imply maybe he was working with the Arabs. Why is this Sultan reaching out to Epstein? Is Epstein a go-between between the Arabs and the Israelis? Next one. This is an email from Jeffrey Epstein to blank. He passed away. It says Robert Maxwell threatened Mossad. And there are all sorts of weird typos and kind of odd formatting errors, maybe just in the way these emails were exported. But Robert Maxwell was the spy, reportedly a double or possibly triple agent for Israel and Russia and maybe the British, who had a big media empire. He was the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the girlfriend and madam for Jeffrey Epstein. And Robert Maxwell died under very suspicious circumstances and got a funeral in Israel. So Robert Maxwell threatened Mossad, writes Jeffrey Epstein. He told them that unless they gave him 400 million pounds to save his crumbling empire, he would expose all he had done for them. In that time, he had free access to Margaret Thatcher's Downing Street, Ronald Reagan's White House, to the Kremlin, and to the corridors of power throughout Europe. Maxwell passed on all the secrets he learned to Mossad in Tel Aviv. In turn, they tolerated his excesses, vanities, and insatiable appetite for a luxurious lifestyle and women. He told his controllers who they should target, how they should do it. He appointed himself as Israel's unofficial ambassador to the Soviet bloc, okay? So we don't know who this is to. This could insinuate that Epstein had a relationship with Mossad. It could insinuate that he didn't really. Maybe he was not particularly pro-Israel, in as much as he's accusing Israel of murdering rockets. This creates a narrow window where they are far more willing to cut deals than any other time of year. Done with Debt has cracked the code on this timing advantage. They know exactly which companies are most motivated to negotiate right now and use this insider knowledge to get results that you can't achieve on your own. Best part, no bankruptcy, no new loans, no credit damage. In fact, most clients end up with more money. Redacted stated all of the above inquiries until he began therapy sometime in 2016 approximately. Redacted offered no supporting or corroborating evidence or witnesses that could be contacted. Redacted appeared to be emotionally unbalanced and not intoxicated. At this time, it is not recommended that any additional investigative resources be expended concerning Redacted's claim. Okay. There's a fair bit of this kind of stuff in there. Which is like, person who does not appear to have any credibility makes crazy claims, like long after the Epstein scandal breaks. And the FBI is even joking about it in some cases. They say, oh, wow, Bush raped him with Clinton and Trump, and oh, wow, that's amazing. And some people who I think are a little more credulous, and fair enough, they recognize that a lot of our global elites are complete degenerates.
Wait,
but
they got a little Jesus piece on the side over here? I don't know why I just noticed that, bro. I don't know.
Take all of this at face value. You can't take anything at face value when it comes to the Epstein case. The one thing we know for sure about Epstein is that he was deceitful, that he's morally not quite right, that he slips around. He's a master of disguise.
Slips around? Bro, this nigga was, bro, okay, look. I'm doing research on these clips, right? I do research on these clips. I'm watching this nigga running around a table. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? I see the caption, that motherfucker say, Jeffrey seen chasing little girl around the table. What the fuck is going on? Like this motherfucker, like this the playground or some shit. What the fuck? Slip around. This nigga been slipping around in baby oil. He's not right, man. He not right. And then, bro, this shit is bad, bro. This is bad, bro. Jay-Z, bro. Jay-Z, bleed. Nigga. Pusha T. But Kanye been saying though, like, let's listen for real. Like, let's listen for real. Bro, this nigga
deceitful.
I'm gonna just chill, bro.
That he's morally not quite right. That he slips around. He's a master of disguise. And we know that people make all sorts of crazy accusations. Okay. I want to bring this full circle. What did I say at the top of the show? I said I've never been more vindicated in my prediction about Epstein. Because what did I say when the Epstein stuff all kicked off again? I said, guys, you are wasting your time. Maybe I should kick myself because I spent a lot of time over the weekend on this. I said, one of two things can be true about Jeffrey Epstein. Either he's exactly who the mainstream tell us he is. He's just an eccentric rich guy who coincidentally was friends with all the influential people in the world, and that's it. That's all. That's all there is to it. Nothing. Oh, and then he killed himself in a prison cell. Oopsie, and then the cameras went out. But they didn't go out, but then they did go out, and actually, never mind. He's just exactly who he says he is. Either that is true, or Jeffrey Epstein was something a little bit more than that. But in the first case, let's say he is exactly who the mainstream tell us he is. In that case, we already know everything we're going to know about Jeffrey Epstein. In the case that Jeffrey Epstein is a little bit more than that, I want you to listen to this very carefully. We already know everything we're ever going to learn about Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, I know it's a very unpopular observation. I am so vindicated on this. 3 million documents just came out. What significant new finding is there in the documents? There's this titillating story about Bill Gates. Yeah. Oh, really interesting. Well, did you know he was talking to the Arabs? Actually, yes, I did. Did you know he was talking to the Israelis? Yes, I did. Did you know he was talking to American intelligence? I did. Did you know? We all knew all of that. We all knew all of that. So there are more titillating examples of this. What significant new finding for the people who come out and say, why don't we talk? Why don't we do something about? Do what? Do what? Do what? What new finding is there? Folks, they passed a law in the early 90s that said they had to release all the Kennedy files. Remember this? John F. Kennedy assassinated in the 1960s, and then all the files didn't come out, and then they passed a law that said that the files have to come out, and then they blew past the deadline, and we still don't have all of the information. The idea that Jeffrey Epstein would have been operating from the 80s or earlier through the mid-2000s before he's arrested on the sex stuff, that he would be operating with all these players in the world, and then he'd get arrested, he'd get some sweetheart deal, and then he would get arrested again a decade later, more than a decade later, and then all of the files incriminating him and everyone around him would just continue to exist. That is an absurd notion. I'll tell you the one thing, the real concrete thing that people want to know, the one real concrete thing, they want to see what happened in that prison cell. If we could see, conveniently we can't, if we could see what happened in that prison cell, that would help to clarify a lot. Did he kill himself? Was he killed? Was he smuggled out of prison? I don't know.
So hold up. So we just ain't see this nigga body. See, this is my first time doing thorough research on Putting Up Grave. Thorough research about all of this shit, bro. So y'all telling me all of this time, mind you, look, listen, I thought he was like alive already. Like Jeffrey, like I'd be like, come on, bleed. Like growing up, like you hear shit like this, but like you don't really like you worried about like what you finna eat type shit. Like you're not thinking about Aunt Bam and folks all the way out there and he bringing motherfuckers to little boys and little girls to motherfucking islands, and man, you ain't thinking about all of that shit. So now that I'm seeing this shit grown up, like now that I'm really doing my little deep dive search, you see what I'm saying? This nigga's just gone? What the fuck? Yeah, something's fishy. Like something's very fishy, bro. This is crazy. Something that's very fishy.
What happened in that cell? We don't know. A lot of people think he's probably more than he made himself out to be. We don't know exactly what that is, because he doesn't seem to be that smart, and he seems mobbed. It's not just that he doesn't seem mobbed up with intelligence. He seems mobbed up with all the intelligence, not even just U.S. allied intelligence, like Russian intel, like everybody. But what did I predict? I said, if he is more than what he says he is, then you already know everything you're ever going to find out about Jeffrey Epstein. Every substantive, significant thing. I am right. People are angry that I am right about that, but c'est la vie. Okay, let's move to something. It also involves weird sex stuff, but it's closer to home. A detransitioner just won a $2 million judgment against her doctor for transing her as a kid. A 22-year-old woman who identified as a boy when she was a teenager won a $2 million politics bucket. There's the weird sex bucket, obviously. And then there's this last thing. There's the science bucket. Jeffrey Epstein founds an institute, the Santa Fe Institute. It's in the Bannon interviews, to pick up a bunch of scientists at the end of the Cold War, because they had been nuclear scientists working during the Cold War. They were out of work. He wanted to scoop them up. He's palling around with a lot of people from Harvard and MIT. He's very interested in things like string theory, and it's weird. And so the question for people is, how do these things fit in with one another, and who is he? I will go very quickly through the Epstein files that most stood out to me. That includes links to the Russians, to the Arabs, to the Jews, to the Syrians, to the Americans, to the Brits, to the everybody, to the CIA.
This shit getting really fishy, bro. That's all I'm saying. You got, and then, bro, I seen that little Elon Musk type of shit. Nigga a therm for real, or for he a donkey for real.